Hey, this is Artifacts of Mars. For some reason I had the Phoenix Lights on my mind last night. I'm formulating a proposal for studying UFOs. That'll probably be my next video. But we're going to discuss why the Phoenix Lights were not flares. When somebody tells you that these were illumination flares launched by the military, they are lying to you. There's a number of solid reasons why. We're going to start with the physical characteristics of the flares. The flares that the military claimed they dropped were LUU2 flares, if you want to look that up. First thing is that flares flicker. And the Phoenix Lights did not. Flares flicker because, fuel's going to burn at different speeds a little bit. There'll be minor imperfections. There might be bugs flying into them. Air currents, so on and so forth. So, the fact is that they're going to flicker a little bit. That's simple to understand. The Phoenix Lights shimmered a little bit because of the air currents, but they certainly did not flicker as illumination flares would have. That's number one. Number two is illumination flares have parachutes, right? Even at a distance, those parachutes should be quite visible. They're going to be lighted up by the flares themselves and by city lights. That didn't happen. No one ever saw any parachutes. So that's a second fail on the part of these people to explain this, because they're going to have to explain where the parachutes were, and they can't do that because there weren't any. Number three, there was no smoke. That's right, flares give off smoke, a lot of smoke. Had these actually been illumination flares, there would have been clouds of smoke. Even at night, even without a moon, you can still see smoke or clouds or whatever. Even out in the country, you can still see clouds a little bit, even if it's dark. They're going to be illuminated to some extent by city lights and whatnot, so you're going to be able to see them. And there's a lot of smoke coming from flares. There was no smoke visible. So no, there wasn't, these were not flares. But it gets worse. Next thing is, there wasn't any airplane visible. There most certainly would have been an airplane. There's no reason for them to run without lights. And there had to have been an airplane to deploy flares if these had been flares. Not so. No airplane was visible, no running lights, no nothing. This was supposedly an exercise. But it doesn't. Wasn't any plane visible. Supposedly it was an A-10 Warthog or something like that. Nope. Sorry. It's a lie. So, we've gone over the physical characteristics. What else? What other proofs are there that these were not flares? Well, it's fairly simple, actually. flares will tend to drift. And when I say drift, we have to remember, if you can imagine an axis coming down, straight down from the point of deployment, the drift is going to be relative to the other flares, and it's going to be along that axis. So in other words, I could draw a line from any point, and it might drift in that direction, up or down, relative to other flares. There's going to be small differences in the rate of descent. And these objects weren't seen to descend, by the way. There's going to be small differences in the right and left and front and back. In other words, they're going to move in a three-dimensional pattern. They will tend to drift some from that straight axis down towards the ground. These flares, as they call them, did not do that. They were a fixed distance apart. Illumination flares simply can't do that. There are air currents. The parachutes aren't going to be 100% uniform. They're going to leak air, a little bit different every one of them, and they're going to move around. Some will fall more quickly, some will fall slowly, and they will drift either some side to side or around and somewhere in a 360-degree pattern from the axis. So what that means is, if these had been flares dropped by an airplane, they would have quickly been seen to move around and fall at different rates. None of that was ever observed. And it certainly wasn't on camera. I've seen the video footage for myself. Now, am I saying this was a spacecraft from another planet? No, I didn't say it come from another planet. I don't know what it was. But it wasn't flares. I'm going to say this again. The people who are telling you that these were flares are lying to you. These are pathological liars. If it were up to me, military people are saying this will be court-martialed. But no, these were not flares. That's not even counting all the people who say they saw a boomerang-shaped craft. All the people on the ground who say they saw a boomerang-shaped craft. That's not even counting them. Although I should. There's another characteristic of flares. Flares will tend to wobble a little bit on the way down. This is just a bonus. Why do they wobble? Well, you got, heated air going in the parachute, and the air that's already there is being displaced, and it's going to tend to just spill out, and it'll cause flares to wobble a little bit on the way down. There's nothing mysterious about it. We all know it's going to happen. So there's another thing. These didn't wobble. Were they flares? No. Was this an alien spacecraft? You be the judge. But I can tell you, these were not flares. The people who are telling you this are lying to you. Somebody knows something, and they're not letting us know what it is. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm simply telling you why these are not flares. I'm Artifacts of Mars. Thanks for watching.